Now, back to the bad news for Joe Biden and the really scary result of that bad news, scary for me, is the fact that it appears, as much as I shudder to even let these words escape from me, but it appears that the Orange Nazi is going to, it's just so hard to say it. The Antichrist, this beast named Donald Jesus Trump, is going to destroy representative government in this country. We are 11 months away, I understand, from the election. Not quite 11 months, and anything can happen in that period of time where it concerns politics. But I still am very much worried. I'll continue to do what I'm doing and continue to try to provide a definite counterpoint to the shit that's swirling around us in this country. And again, if you didn't see Rachel Maddow's program last night on MSNBC, if you can find it online, I strongly recommend that you watch it, because she laid out, as she has continued to lay, she has another book out about fascism and its rise in this country. If you can find Rachel Maddow's program from the 18th last night, please watch it. Now, overall, registered voters in this survey by the New York Times, Siena College, overall voters say they favor the orange bastard over Biden in next year's presidential election by 2 percentage points, 46% to 44%. Now, granted, that's within the margin of error, but it is, and consequently, you could call it a dead heat. But what? In this country, we have a filthy, criminal, rapist, rotten bastard with 91 indictments against him, 91 felony counts against him, 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, and he's running even with a guy who is just a conservative Democrat? Astonishing. And Biden's job approval rating is down to 37%. Didn't I mention that during the first half? I think so. That's down a couple of points from July. However, and this is how desperate it's getting when you have to turn to what I'm going to say now for any positive feeling about defeating Trump. There's considerable uncertainty over whether disaffected voters will even vote. It's still early. The race is flipped among the likely electorate, with Biden leading by 2 percentage points. So, just like I said, it's a dead heat, and I don't see what it is that's going to pull this country away from the fascism that tens of millions of people in this country seem to want. And Maddow laid out all the reasons why a country that was some sort of democracy drifts toward fascism. The reasons that pull a country into a fascist state, for which they are then forever regretful. Forever regretful. Economic patterns back to the present in this country. Economic concerns or patterns remain paramount, according to this survey. 34% of registered voters listed economic or inflation-related concerns as the top issue facing the country. Inflation is almost down to a manageable point, and what the hell does Biden have to do with that? So 34% of registered voters say inflation is one of the things that is going to motivate them to vote. But in October, it was 45% who said that. So it's come down 11 percentage points, which is still high. And then we have voters between 18 and 29 years of age. And what is very interesting to me is I have a daughter who fits right into that demographic, Molly. And as the Times reports, that demographic, 18 to 29-year-olds, are traditionally a heavily Democratic demographic. But the numbers now really jump out at you if you look at this survey. Nearly 75% of the voters in that group, 18 to 29, disapprove of the way Biden is handling the conflict in Gaza. And among registered voters, they say they would vote for Trump, I'm talking 18 to 29-year-olds, by 49% to 43%. And back in July, those same voters, 18 to 29-year-olds, backed Biden by 10 percentage points. So Biden's favorability among that group, 18 to 29-year-olds, has fallen 16% since July. What has happened since July? Right. The slaughter going on in Israel. Now, I don't know who or how Biden is being advised about Israel-Gaza. But the statements that I have heard from Joe Biden about the situation, about the slaughter there, are just stomach churning to me, because when he does make a statement about the slaughter, about the fact that it's got to stop, the words that come out of his mouth are barely audible to begin with, to me anyway, and are just so mealy-mouthed about, I'm going to talk to Bibi Netanyahu about trying to cut down on, be more discriminating, and then it just peters out into nothing. Rather than Biden taking a stand, if he doesn't have the morality, is that the word I'm looking for, to stand up on his hind legs and say, God damn it, stop it, Netanyahu. You're slaughtering thousands of children. Stop it. If he doesn't have the spine to do that, Biden, then maybe he could be a little less forceful in the statements he makes for public consumption, by saying, my hope is that Israel will stop this. And when there's a vote in the UN Security Council, like there was the other day, the United States won't veto the attempt to bring this to an end. So Biden is cutting his own throat. And in the process of doing that, and I hate to blame him, but in the process of doing that, he is opening the gate for the Antichrist to take over this country, this filthy monster Donald Trump, and the devils that are advising him. A quote from a software engineer in San Francisco who was asked some questions in the survey. This guy is 27 years old. He said, quote, I don't want to vote for someone who is not aligned with my own personal values, as Biden has shown he is not when it comes to Gaza. Do I vote for Biden or do I not vote at all? That's really difficult, because if I don't vote for Biden, I open up the possibility that Trump will win, and I really do not want that. End quote. Well, that's where so many people are, especially in this younger demographic. These are not stupid people. I listen to my daughter and her conversations, not just with me, but with her friends. Girls and guys, her friends, most of whom she's known for a very long time, except for the people she hangs out with now from her college, from college days, which she is right in the middle of. But I listen to their conversations. And what I hear is exactly what this guy, this software engineer in San Francisco, is saying. I don't want to vote for someone who's not aligned with my own values, but if I don't vote for Biden, I open up the possibility that Trump will win. And I don't want that. So this is beyond a Hobson's choice. This is choosing between something that is stomach churning and something that is evil. Which do you go with? Now, for older people, you go with the stomach churner because you understand what political evil in the form of fascism unleashed can do on this planet. We've had to defeat it a couple of times. And every time we've defeated fascism, anywhere from 50 to 100 million people have died. And we're going to do it again? Fascist governments eventually, not only do they attack their neighbors, but they attack each other. Because fascism is all about power. That's all. Power. Control. Call it whatever you want. How do we get out of this? How does this end? The way it looks now, it's going to end very, very badly in the Middle East and in this country. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.